Hello, hello! Welcome to this video. I'm Samia, your host, and it's been a while. Oh my god, welcome back. If you're already a subscriber, if you're new here, welcome. I hope you enjoy this video. I really wanted to do a video on skin tones, and why did I say it like that? On skin tones and how to use Copic markers to color skin tones. Specifically for this piece, I wanted to vary my skin tones, meaning use different markers kind of for one face than for the other, instead of, since both characters are like somewhat light-skinned, coloring it the exact same way like I sometimes see. So I'm going to take you through that in this video, and this was a really long process, so I actually split it into two parts. So today is all about skin tones and then hair, and then part 2 will be clothing, background, finishing details, and like a bit more about the commission and all that good stuff. So, getting right into it. First, I laid down the darkest pink that I chose. I chose more pink tones for Bulma, the girl in the front, if you don't know Dragon Ball Z. I picked sort of pinker tones, so the lightest tone I'm using, I believe, is the R000. One of the darker ones that I use for the blush is R20, and it's literally called Blush. And I start with the darker ones, then I layer the lighter one over it to blend out the darker shadows. Then I add some of the blush, and then I blend that out again with the lighter marker. And you'll see me eventually go back in, and after I've added everything smoothly, adding darker shadows so that they stay sharper, because when you go dark to light with Copic markers, you can blend things out really smoothly, which is great. It's what I love about Copic markers, but sometimes you do lose a little bit of that like tight, sharp shadow that is sometimes cast on the face, like where the hair is and where the chin is. So I go back in and I darken those up a little bit. And I used a couple different markers on the lips. You can kind of see what's nearby. Again, if you want to go back to the beginning and look at all the markers I picked, because in the beginning that's exactly everything I used in this whole commission. You can check that out. Then for her hair, basically it's 3 blues. I decided to go for a more bright ice blue. So the darkest blue I use, I think, is literally called Sky. I use that on her eyes as well. The lightest blue is like ice blue, probably is what it's called. It's a B00, a B12, and a B24, if I'm not mistaken. And with the hair, I do the opposite. I actually go light to dark because I wanted the shading on the hair to be a lot sharper. I did not want that blending, that smooth blending as much. The other fun thing about Copic markers is that when you're using the brush tip, if you put down your marker and then sort of pull away as you make your stroke, you can get the tip of the marker to leave, and you can get these really nice sort of like thick to thin strokes that I really enjoy using in shading. And it's what makes the way I color hair really pop sometimes, I think. So yeah, so I did all of that. And then you have her like really bright blue hair. And then I'm going to repeat everything I just told you about on Vegeta, the guy in the back. Except the difference is going to be that I picked more caramel skin tones for him. So I picked like E11, I think is my lightest tone, but that's actually what I use to shade super light skinned tones. So I use E11, I use a couple darker browns, again, refer to the front if you need to. I do what I did before, I start with the darkest darks, and then you can see a little bit better maybe on Vegeta. I think it becomes a bit more obvious when I go back to it. I put down a lot of darks, I put down midtones, I put down the lightest tone, and then I go back and put the dark shadows in again. And you see like, especially like on the bottom of his arm and hand, you see how it looks really dark, and I leave all that white area also so that I can blend into the white area. I don't want to cover everything. That's really important when you're trying to establish highlights. And actually you can see me using an even darker brown there because the one I was using wasn't even dark enough. It was more of a mid-tone for what I wanted. So I darkened up the shadows. When I used the mid-tone, I went wider. I added a pinker tone to his fingers, his nose, his cheeks, and his elbows. And then I used the lightest tone to blend that all in. But then I still didn't feel like the shadows were heavy enough. So I went back in, and on the underside of his arm, where his shirt is, where like the side of his face is, I added all that darker shadow. Then, because his hair is black, you can kind of have fun with the color that black is reflecting, because black hair is always going to reflect some light, right? So sometimes it might reflect like a slightly bluish brown, sometimes it'll be like a real brown. In anime, obviously, there's a lot of leeway, and for this piece, I wanted his hair to be a softer tone, but also be a cool tone that would contrast the warmth of his skin. So I decided to use light purple for my lightest light, and then I really worked on his hair in chunks. It's very spiky, as you probably know, or maybe you don't, but it's anime, so you might. It's very spiky, so I try and work from the base and the tip of the triangle with the darkest purple and then the darkest black I have, and sort of work in so that there's a highlight in the middle of the chunk, if that makes sense. And kind of in like layered triangles, if you will. And then I make sure those darkest darks are really sharp. I'm using like a light purple, a dark purple, and a black. And then I get it all done, and we're already at the end of this video. So thanks so much for joining me. If you have any questions, please let me know. Leave them in the comments below, and don't forget to like if you enjoyed it. If you didn't, you don't have to like it. And subscribe if you want to see more videos from me. You can even put in the notification button. I have a lot of videos on marker techniques, watercolor, all kinds of stuff. And next time we'll be talking about clothing and scenery, so stay tuned. Until then, I hope you guys have a great day. Enjoy your time, enjoy your night, or what. I don't know how to sign up videos. I'm not even like editing this. Whatever. I hope you all have a great night. I hope you're inspired. Thanks for joining me. Bye!